Welcome to a brand new edition of Local Focus. I'm your host, Sebastian Noel. Exciting to have a very special guest this week. His dunks during the state tournament went viral, not just locally here, but on the NFHS networks, social media, all across the country. The New Mexico State Tournament routinely is the second most watched state tournament on the NFHS network in the country. So probably a whole lot of people watched those dunks. Volcano Vista's David Lunn is my guest.
What's up? What's up?
So let's start with the dunks. Like, what goes into a good dunk?
Just, I'd say, the focus and then just having fun with it.
Okay. Like, so, how much creativity goes into that? Like, you work on that in your off time? Like,
yeah, I say just like, just messing around in the gym and stuff after practices and then also taking it serious, but just having fun. Just,
You take any inspiration from any, like, who's the best dunker right now, you think, in the NBA?
A person I really like is Anthony Edwards dunks.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you kind of certain guys you follow in the league that dunk.
Yeah, like really Anthony Edwards, and then I think LeBron has some pretty nice ones, especially from when he was younger. So yeah.
Right. And what about like dunk contests are on a lot, right? Not only the NBA, yeah. College has one. There's the McDonald's All-American one. You take those in?
Yeah, I did watch the McDonald's All-American one. So yeah. I enjoy it. I think it's cool.
Now, when you're watching that one, are you kind of like at home, like, okay, yeah, I could have done that? Are you taking inventory there?
At times, yeah. Trying to see what I could start working on, seeing what I could do.
So let's talk about that one in the game in particular, down the paint. Like, did you just see the paint open up there, or what was kind of going through your mind when you had the ball out on the perimeter there?
Yeah, basically just caught it, saw it was open, so just took it as hard as I could, and then just trying to finish it.
And so, at what point, like post game? After the game, like that became the talk of the tournament, right? Like, especially we're upstairs at the pit, we're on the concourse, everyone's walking around talking about that dunk, right? When did you realize that kind of like became a pretty viral moment and everyone's kind of talking about it?
I say I realized it became viral just like when I saw it reach Instagram and stuff, and just saw it start getting posted on social media. So yeah.
And how hype was your team? I mean, that's probably always the best part, right?
Yeah.
Those guys on the bench.
Yeah.
Those guys, the littles that only dream about dunking. The littles.
Yeah,
how hyped do they get?
They're my hype guys. I like them, yeah. They always keep our energy up, keep us going on a high note, so yeah.
Aside from the dunks, how special of a week was that?
It was a great week. It was a fun week. We started off with high energy in practices, just focusing on what we had to do, but also enjoying it, seizing the moment, because, when you lose, you go home, so just and taking it all in and just having fun.
Right. What about now? Back to the dunk thing a little bit. I know, like hops and those springs. That a lot of that's genetic, right? But then there's work that goes into it, right? So like, talk about that. Like, how much leg work goes into having hops like that?
I'd say definitely we lift a good amount during the season and preseason. So doing that, and then also working with Athlete Ready. So that kind of helped, just working on mobility and strengthening those muscles that you don't use it much, and then just working with them.
And what kind of work, like what kind of stuff do they have you doing there?
A bunch of stuff: squats, jumps, just lateral movements, everything. So yeah.
So the year-round process is what part of the year-round process are you in right now?
Right now we're just in just kind of like an off season, but it's also summer ball's coming up, so just working on strength and weaknesses, just lifting a lot, and just trying to get stronger for next year.
What were your expectations going into this season as a freshman? Obviously, you know what program you're involved with, right? But what were some of your What were some of your expectations going into the season?
Some of my expectations were just to come out and earn stuff, and then, just nothing be given to you, but always just taking it and earning it, and then just us team. I really wanted us to go undefeated, so just trying to strive for that.
And as an individual, what were some of the early moments? Were there moments this year where you felt like a freshman, where you're like, man, I screwed that up?
Yeah.
What were some of those moments?
For sure. I'd say, just in the preseason, just trying to work out, get the plays in and stuff like that, and just trying to focus and find out where I fit in at. But it came really quick, so yeah.
Yeah, and when did it start to this is where I belong?
So yeah.
When did that kind of click?
I'd say it started to click after our Oregon Mountain game. I feel like that was a big opening game for me, and then just ever since that, it just kept rolling. So, yeah.
Because I don't think people realize, as a freshman, right, a lot of these things are new to you, right? Obviously the basketball side of it was always there, but now you're playing in a gym in front of your peers, large crowds, on a championship team that has all this pedigree, right? So that can get pretty overwhelming. How was that at the beginning? Just all the non-basketball stuff. What was that like?
It was surprising, not being at the school, so not knowing what it was like to win a state championship, and then just learning how everybody's so humble. Even after being a 2-time champion, they're all just on to the next year. They're not still trying to think about what happened the past year, and we're just moving forward. So yeah.
And then there's that academic piece too, right? You're obviously you're going to a new school, and I'm guessing Volcano Vista is not like Colorado, right? You have to go to class.
Yeah.
You're not Shadur Sanders here, so you're going to class every day. There's an academic adjustment too. I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, Coach Brown helped me out a lot with that, and then just getting to know my teachers, just respecting them, and then just communicating with them and stuff, so they know whenever I'm not going to be there, or when I'll be late and stuff like that. So just talking with them and then just working through it.
What was kind of the biggest growing pain away from basketball, you think, your freshman year?
Definitely just figuring out friends, probably just figuring out who I'm going to hang out with. I really hang out with a lot of kids on the team a lot. Those are really my close friends now. And then not knowing a lot of them when we first started the season, so yeah.
Yeah, what's that adjustment like, especially coming to a championship team with all that pedigree? What's it like when the freshman comes in?
It was weird at first. I knew some of the younger guys, and I knew Kenyon and Hudson, but everybody else I didn't really know them. And then I'd say after the first couple of weeks, we all just started to just bond together even better. So yeah.
At the beginning, was there hey, maybe I shouldn't dunk on this senior in practice? Was there any of that?
I wouldn't say really that. Just trying to prove yourself. So I was really just trying to go into practice and just work as hard as I can, just trying to earn a spot. So yeah.
When was the first point of the season where you're like, no, you know what? Huddy's not going to take that charge, and I'm going to hammer one on Kenyon's face. When did that happen in practice?
It was, I don't know. I wouldn't even say it was the first week of practice. It probably took a little bit into the season, just to get used to everything.
Take our first break here. We want to talk about where all this athleticism came from. A pretty athletically rich family that David comes from. We'll talk about that when we come back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Back with Volcano Vista Hawk David Lunn. Before we get to this athletic background, because you come from a very athletic family, you watch the show ever?
Yeah. I watched a couple
All
of
right.
them, yeah.
So you know we do a top 5 list, right?
Gotcha.
Top 5 things we don't know about David Lunn. Number 5.
Number 5, definitely just me being an only child. I'd say that.
Okay.
And then also number 4, in the 6th grade, that's when I started touching the rim, grabbing the
Touching the
rim
rim?
and stuff.
All right. But not dunking, just touching the rim?
I did get one like later on, going into the 7th grade.
Okay.
And then
Like a legit one?
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
hang on the rim with one hand, scoot it over with the other, or it was a legit 6th grade dunk?
I'd count a legit one.
Okay.
It was legit. And then also...
Right. You just gonna host the show, or are you gonna let me do the countdown?
my bad.
All right, okay, just checking. Number 3.
Number 3, I used to play football when I was younger.
Okay, I do want to get to that.
Gotcha.
We'll come back to that because that's fascinating. You've been offered a football scholarship, right?
Yes, sir.
Without playing high school football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to get back to that for
Gotcha.
sure. Number 2, things we don't know about you.
Number 2, both of my parents played Division I.
Okay. And what sports?
My mom played volleyball and my dad played basketball.
Okay. All right.
So,
Number 1 thing we don't know about David Lunn.
Number 1 thing that y'all don't know, I really do like to play video games a lot.
Okay. Like what video games are we talking?
I'd be whooping my team in Madden.
Okay.
At tournaments and then just
2K?
Yeah, I'd be playing 2K. They don't want to play me in that either, so
Who's good on the team?
none of them can check me on the team. And
do you guys play for money, or is that not allowed? I don't know. Do kids gamble? I don't know.
Sometimes we'll put a couple dollars.
Okay, allowance versus allowance. That kind do people still get allowances? Is that a thing still?
A little bit,
okay,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
So you could play for some money.
Yeah,
conceivably,
for sure.
Right?
For sure, yeah.
We don't condone gambling on this program, but I'm just asking the question. You could conceivably play for money. Call of Duty 2 or just sports games, pretty much? Sports game, and I do play Warzone a little bit. Okay, so yeah. All right. So no one on your team's good, you said. So who else is you play? Who else do you play in the city that's good?
Shoot, I play Brandon. I play a whole bunch of other basketball players, but and they get me sometimes, but no one on our team can really play the games. A lot of guys are into the video games, and that's there's this whole just city underground video game thing that goes on, right? I hear about this, the so and so plays so and so, right? We've heard that a couple of years ago the first time, and I'm fascinated by that always. But who have you ever taken an L in Madden or? Okay, and who gave you that L? I lost one time to Houston. Okay, and then Kenyon says I lost to him, but he really cheated. All right, but so yeah. Okay, and now let's focus on Madden and 2K because I've played both of those. What are you playing? Legitimate veteran mode? Or are you in rookie mode? What are you doing? Nah, I play all Madden. All Madden. Yeah. Okay, all right. And then what teams are you playing as? In Madden I play with the Ravens. Okay, everyone plays as the Ravens. It turns out. All right. Nice. What about 2K? This year I've been playing with the Suns. Why? Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, they got nice teams. So right, yeah, okay, all right. It's been solid. Did you have an NBA guy? Who's your NBA guy? Anthony. Yeah, I do. He a 3-way slashing playmaker. Okay, and that's my career player. Okay, and who is that? He's it's what my career is? Yeah. No, but I'm talking about in the actual NBA. Who's your guy that you watch? Oh, my actual guy that I watch, definitely Curry, Anthony Edwards, and then LeBron. That dynasty's dead, right? It died last night. Yeah. I mean, I've been hearing that, yeah. Did you take an L like that? Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a rough one. Right, and Clay goes 0 for 10. Yeah, it was tough. And then his teammate and his coach say, hey, we need him back. Yeah. So they're almost holding the franchise hostage that they have to bring him back. Is that the end of that dynasty, you think? I'd say, yeah. I think so. I do like him, though. I like
Yeah.
the team, but I think
Well, Steph could still go because he had a good second half,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
you know, that's an 0 for 10 out of Clay.
Yeah, it's tough. It's rough.
All right, let's talk about this athletic background more because both parents played Division I. How was that? That had to be pretty cool growing up.
It's nice. It was nice, having them always on my side, especially my mom's always being there. And then just growing up with the athletic ability, I've always had it. So then just choosing what I wanted to play.
So great genetics, obviously, from their backgrounds. But then also I think that has to instill a really competitive nature in you, I would think. Talk about that, how competitive of a family it is from their background now to you. How competitive is it?
I'd say it's always been competitive, especially between me and my mom's. So even when I was younger, her just pushing me as hard as I could and then just being there for me.
Now, and you have correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a super talented cousin that plays at ABC, right, as well?
Yeah.
So it's just talent all over the place, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, let's go to this football thing.
Gotcha.
Like, when I read that, I was like, wow. So for those that don't know, fill the audience in on that whole, what we're talking about.
So, yeah, basically, I had just got home, I think from practice or something, and then I was just hanging out, and then my mom told me to just come downstairs and talk to her. So I went downstairs, and then one of the Penn State coaches was on the phone, Kenny, and I started talking to him a little bit.
Did you think it was a basketball call at first when they said there was a coach on the phone, or did you know already right away?
I would have thought it was a basketball,
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, and then I just came down there, started talking to him, and he told me that I could just had a scholarship to the school. So then I went and took that, and then a couple weeks later, I went up to the school and walked around toward the football facility and the basketball facility and just saw everything that was up there. So, yeah.
And so, I mean, are we going to see you on the football field ever, or is that just, I mean, I have to ask.
I got you. Nah, I've been thinking about it.
Right.
I told the coaches, I told my mom I was going to take the summer to think about it and just see what I wanted to do. We got summer ball still coming up, so just focusing on basketball, but then, if it comes around, then we'll see.
And so, obviously, you played football in the past, right? So, what sports did you play growing up?
Oh, I played baseball, soccer, and football and basketball, and that was it. Yeah.
Okay, and which one did you give up first?
I think I gave up soccer first.
Okay, when did that happen?
When I was around like 6, I didn't like the running part. So I had to just
So soccer
get rid
goes
of that.
away first, and then what's next?
And then baseball.
Okay, when did that go away?
Probably when I was around 9.
What position did you play there in baseball?
I was a pitcher.
Okay,
So, yeah.
they're not making that much money these days, right?
Yeah.
Only 50, 60
Yeah,
mil a year.
it's,
So that,
yeah.
baseball, that's a tough one because
Yeah.
that's where the money is just disgustingly
Yeah.
out of control, right? All right, so baseball's out of the way now. What did you drop next?
And then football was next.
Okay.
And
So how long did you play football to?
I started when I was in the 5th grade, and I think I stopped after the 6th grade.
Okay.
So I played like 2 years, and then, yeah.
I'm going to ask a question, but I want you to think about answering it carefully
Gotcha.
because I already regret what the question I'm about to ask. Freshman, okay? Because there's a little. You ever watch Volcano's football team and think to yourself, man, you know what? I can get this team over the hump. They can't ever win the big one. I could get them over the hump.
I watched the football team, and I was hearing about them before the season started. And, one of the quarterbacks, Drayden, was supposed to be out there. So I was excited to watch him go out there and ball out this year. And then, stuff happens. But they did not the best season, but, the football, I'm cool with the football guys.
Right.
I think, I'm always going to be supporting them and stuff. So then, yeah, but I definitely do think.
Some of you guys have that itch like, man, we could get out there and help this team.
Oh, yeah. Our basketball team talks about it a little bit. I mean, I don't think we know how hard football can be,
Oh,
but
that's true.
we do think we could go out there and help a little
Right,
bit. So,
right,
yeah.
for sure. What about the volleyball thing is so cool too. Like that's where the hops come from, right? Like
Yeah.
has to be from your mom's side.
So, yeah, I'd say, yeah. There's some pictures of her jumping. And
Because like volleyball, that's legit.
Yeah, she had a little bit of bounce to her. So, yeah, she got some bunnies.
So like when she's watching you dunk, she ever like, I mean, I've done that, and she pull up old pictures of her spiking it at the net, or what?
Yeah, I have seen. She has done that to me before. I've seen some pictures of her, but she's my fan at the same time, so she
Right.
always hyped me up. But I've
Right.
seen her. She's pulled out some pictures of her before.
What And so, you know, basketball's such a year-round thing now, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when did it really evolve you? Like, when did it become all in year-round? When did that really start?
I'd say it started whenever I stopped playing football. As soon as I stopped playing football, that's when I really just started playing basketball year-round. So around the 7th grade, and then that's when I just fully committed to basketball. So then ever since, just been playing it year-round. So, yeah.
We'll take another break. When we come back, we want to talk a little bit more about the season this year and then what's next for David Lunn.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Back with David Lunn. Let's talk a little bit more about the season. Obviously, you know, winning a championship, that kind of success as a freshman. You know, talk about that a little bit.
I got you.
Was it kind of surreal or kind of what, okay, check the box, this is what was expected here, but take me through your mindset.
I think, yeah, it was definitely expected for us. And then, you know, just we always talked about in our meetings, just we're not worrying about the outside, so just trying to keep it between us. And then, you know, just it was also my first year, so the guys have won 2 championships before, and it was my first time to win a championship. So I was like just really wanting to get one and just have it under my belt. So just working towards it. And then, yeah, but it was fun. I enjoyed the experience, and it was great.
Now, it does set the bar incredibly high, right? To win a championship as a freshman and to do what you did this year, I mean, that sets the bar really high, right? So after the season, when you start kind of decompressing a little bit and thinking about what you're going to work on in the offseason and what your goals are moving forward, what does that look like? If you've already checked the box, you're already a state champ, what do goals look like moving forward for next year?
Yeah, definitely just improving everything, just working on shooting, ball handling, you know, just making a game get better. Just that's all you can really do, just working over the summer, just working on your craft, and then just come back next year with just even more.
And talk about that a little more, because we talked with Kenyon about that, and the culture there really helps, right? Like, you guys got guys that come back that have graduated, Money and some of those guys are in the gym, right? So talk about that. I mean, yes, you play club, but also you guys get better together, it seems like, as a team too, right? I mean, you guys work a lot in the offseason.
So, yeah, I'd say the off-season and then even just in the in-season, we have a lot of the older guys come back and practice with us, go over sets with us, and just help us out. And then, you know, some of our coaches get out there and play with us at times. So they're just always giving us just different looks and just helping us get better.
Which coach have you dunked on?
Have I dunked on?
Yeah.
I don't think I've dunked on one yet.
Oh, no?
But I've actually...
Well, older guys are dirty, so they'll probably foul you.
Yeah.
Right.
But I've gave a couple of some buckets before.
So which coach, I mean, are the coaches pretty competitive when they're out there with you? Or, like, who's got games still?
Yeah, they pretty competitive.
Does Coach Cuevas have games still? Because he told me he still has game.
Yeah, he still got game. Coach Brown can play a little bit. Coach McCall.
Outside shooter. Dirty elbows like John Stockton. That's always what I picture. I don't know. Yeah?
You know, I don't know if they got that much competitiveness, but I start
They're still
talking
out there,
smack
right?
to them, yeah. So they start to pick it up.
And what about the old dudes? How are they making you better, right? Because obviously Jaquan, you know, he's up there at Highlands, and I know Coach Domingue is expecting big things out of him. And so talk about some of those dudes when they come back. How do they make you better?
Yeah, just having Jaden, Jaquan, and Oscar there, Anthony and them, always just helping us. Guarding Jaquan is always just a different look, taller, stronger guard. So just playing against them and just working on new things, just different ways to play.
And then I think it's fascinating, too, as a freshman, like the path has been laid out, right? You see what the guys ahead of you have done. You see the expectations, you see the success, and you see their progress. Obviously, that gives you something to replicate, right?
Yeah, definitely just coming in first year, seeing how the older guys do it, Kenyon, Hudson, and Ryan and them just teaching me the ropes, and then just knowing that after next year it'll be my turn to start being a better leader and helping the team out more.
And that's kind of what really successful programs look like, right? It's these transition periods, and we talked about this with Kenyon a little bit, right? When did it become his team? And then, when did he start dominating? And then just the natural progression of that, right? Like, you guys are at a unique place right now. I know Coach Brown doesn't like when I talk about this, but you're in the middle of a pretty historic run.
Yeah.
Mathematically, it would be in the middle of a historic run if it would get to 6, right?
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of this run as a freshman. So soon that responsibility will carry to you, right? So you think about that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just thinking about, he needs to get 6 wins, and that's just what we're gonna go for. But
right.
Just taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, and just keep on moving forward.
And now, what about individually? I mean, obviously, they don't let dummies go to Penn State, so you obviously must be taking care of business in the classroom. So, what is the college basketball? Do you have a dream list? Do you have like a what's the short list?
Number 1 school would definitely be to go to Kansas.
Okay.
I've always liked the Jayhawks.
Right.
And then the next school is I'd want to be a Longhorn.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I got a third, and it's just to go to Houston.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my top 3.
And how has NIL changed the way young student athletes look at college athletics? It's real, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't deny it. It's real.
Yeah, I think it's changed the game a lot. I mean, you got people that go to like smaller schools and are still making crazy amounts of money instead of just going to like these massive schools. So I think it's nice though. I think it's great though.
You think that weighs in a decision, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say yeah. I mean, everybody likes money, so
like if Kansas is like, they're pinching pennies and being cheap.
Yeah. And
Texas comes with this massive thing, right? Yeah. Like, that goes into your mind, obviously.
For sure, yeah.
Right? What about, I noticed you did not mention UCLA. So what would that, like, would they have to come in with a pretty high offer, or, because I'm a fan of the Bruins.
You like them?
So what would they have to write a pretty big check, or, because I noticed you left them out.
I don't have anything against UCLA.
Okay, well,
I like
good.
them. I mean, I like the team. Their colors are nice, and then I've just never been there before,
right.
So I haven't seen anything about
Jordan School, right? Jordan Apparel.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's pretty tight though.
Hollywood.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I definitely want to go up there.
What's going to go into that decision, right? Obviously, you have a great support system, not only on campus, but right there in your living room, right? Your parents both lived it. So what's going to go into this decision-making process?
Just sharing with my family, talking to my mom about it, and then just taking time on it, just praying for whatever happens, and then just going with what we got.
Have they kind of shared how they made those decisions?
Yeah, my mom definitely has. She told me about her visits she's taken and how she could have taken more, how she could have taken less, and just saying she's going to be there and help me out with stuff, so yeah.
And then, the athletic piece, the academic piece, geography, is that something that matters? Do you have a place, well, you mentioned kind of Texas, but then Kansas. Geography, not really. Is that going to come into play?
Not really too much. I mean, basketball is inside, so I don't really.
There you go.
I mean, you're going to be indoors, so it's not too big of a deal for me.
Right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Hopefully, you continue on this path. Maybe 3 more championships, 3 more visits to the show,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and good night.